What is going on, guys? It is Stab, and we are finally back from the dead. Today we have a little something different, which is going to actually be the Season 1 recap of the Stab League. Now, before we actually jump into the video, it's basically me running through the different battles and what happened and how we ended the season and all that. The Stab League Season 2 is actually coming up next month, or technically the end of this month, but the actual first activity of the new season will be next month in May. I figured I would get this out. I actually uploaded the first 3 weeks and the team builder for what is it this week. I uploaded those during the season. The biggest problem with the season was that I actually didn't have internet during almost the entire Stab League Season 1. So what I would have to do is I would have to go to the library, play the game, keep the game up, record it, go home, edit it, then go back to said library and upload it. So it was kind of a tedious process, and after a while, I just didn't feel like doing it. The main problem for this video is that I waited so long that I lost a lot of the teams that I had made for the season. So I really don't remember a lot of the sets. I'll do my best to remember what I brought each week, but yeah, this is week 4. I believe starting through. So at this point, we're 3-0 with some ridiculous differential. We have like 2 6-0s and a 2-0 or something like that. So just remember, the Stab League is an instructional league. These people are not quote unquote professional players whatsoever. But I figured I'd get these done to kind of give them a recap of how you're supposed to play and battle and all that, as well as for myself. I like to go over the games and share them with you guys. Like I said, week 4. So we are taking out Balfre. Balfre is a very good battler. He is greatly improved even at this point. So hopefully we can get the win here. We had a pretty decent matchup against his team. His entire team, he had these. He also had like an Arcanine and a Nidoqueen, I think. But he did bring Snorlax, Togekiss, Mamoswine, Gardevoir, Vaporeon, and Mega Sceptile, as I have my Mega Lopunny, Greninja, Crobat, Tangrowth, Azumarill, and Victini. Basically, the idea behind this team was to weaken most of his threats with Lopunny and Greninja, have Crobat there to shut down a potential Curslax, have Tangrowth for a little bit of defensive backbone, have a nice set of Victini to be a threat, and then eventually just win with the Belly Drive Azumarill that we brought this week. I did expect him to lead off with either his Mamoswine or his Snorlax. In any case, I'm getting my Mega off with Lopunny and leading off of that. I can click Fake Out and then go from there. So, without further ado, we're finally going to jump into the first battle. This is week 4. Here we go. So, he does lead off with that Mamoswine, as I do lead off my Lopunny. And I believe here, yes, I just to click the Fake Out. Fake Out's great because he doesn't get up rocks turn 1 and it breaks a potential Sash. Because I can click Fake Out here, I'm going to go for the low kick. Now, this kind of it's kind of an obvious play, but I figured if he tried to stay in and get up rocks, maybe predicted me to go for like a power punch or over predicted return, that would be a good play for him. Unfortunately for him, I just click the low kick and kill this thing. He goes into Gardevoir, which is totally fine, actually, because I can technically 2-hit KO this, but I don't want him to have like Psychic and be like Specs. So I'm going to go in my Tangrowth. I know I can eat any hit because I am Assault Vest. And he actually goes for the Destiny Bomb, which is pretty good. Again, I could have played around the Destiny Bomb with my Lopunny, but we didn't want to risk that this early in the game. He can't really touch Tangrowth, so he switches out to Sceptile. And I believe I just go for the knockoff. Pretty safe. If I'd gone for Sludge Bomb, he would have been 2-hit KO'd, so that wasn't the best switch on his part, but as you're going to see, he actually is a physical Sceptile, not a favorite set of mine, just because I think it's very weak compared to the special one. Go for the super effective Sludge Bomb, do a ton of damage. Don't get the poison, but now he's in range of Azumarill's Aqua Jet, so I did accomplish what I needed to do. He goes into Snorlax here, and I believe I'm going to switch out. I don't want him to set up a curse. In fact, I think from the Gardevoir switch into Sceptile, I thought that he might try and set up Curse with the Snorlax. I'm going to go to my Crobat and just taunt him. As you're going to see, he goes for a turn, which is actually better for me because even though it does a lot more damage than a Body Slam would, I know there's no chance of him being able to get a Para. So I'm going to get a little bit of Black Sludge recovery, and I'm just going to fire for Toxic. Toxic is nice depending on what switch-in he wanted to make. No switch-ins appreciate Toxic. And I can Toxic this and just wear it down. He is taunted, so he can only attack me, so no rest, no sleep talk, no curse. Great, great, great. He switches out knowing that he can't really do anything to me. He goes into Vaporeon. I figured he might have Ice Beam, but I am just going to roost up, get near full health. In fact, almost exactly full health after Black Sludge. But I decided to see what he's going to do. I taunt him because I don't want him to pass a Witch back into his Snorlax or his Sceptile. He does go for the Ice Beam. It does less than half because of my bulk investment. And I believe here I either roost, or do I roost again, or do I... No, I'm just going to go hard into my Azumarill, and it is time, guys. He's going to go for the Ice Beam. Luckily, he doesn't freeze me. Because of my EV spread, I do outspeed this, and I can just fire off a Belly Drum. He even makes it 10 times better on me by going into his Snorlax on a switch, so I get a Belly Drum for free. And now Balfre's in trouble, and Balfre probably lost the game because now I can click a +6 knockoff for free. It doesn't matter if Sceptile doesn't have an item. It doesn't matter if he goes into Togekiss. Who resists it, he's just going to drop. And Snorlax loses his leftover, loses his life, and one big threat out of the way. He goes into Gardevoir here, thinking he can outspeed me, I guess, and I'm just going to click the Aqua Jet. If he's like Sash, Sludge Bomb, or Sludge Wave or something like that, I guess it was kind of bad. But at the same time, you know what? We're out here to risk it. We're out here to win games. He goes into Sceptile way too late because Sceptile has a range of the Aqua Jet really easily, despite quad resisting it. So, yeah. And now he really brings in Togekiss, and this could have actually been bad if he was Thunder Wave, because what I can do here is he goes for Nasty Plot as I go for the Play Rough. What I should have done probably was go for 2 Aqua Jets instead, because if he was Nasty Plot, he probably didn't have T-Wave. But his last Pokemon is his Vaporeon, and like I said, I'm EV to outspeed that anyway, so I can just click the knockoff and win the game 6-0. 3 6-0s in 4 weeks. We are off to a very good start in the season. So next week, the game will be against Jim, which is very something we were looking forward to at this point in the season, just because Jim was a also hot team. He was destroying the entire league, so this was the matchup of the Giants in week 5. I'll be right back with that game as well. All right, here we are. I actually forgot to pause it. So this is week 5 against Jim, and as you see, he brings a pretty similar team to what I thought he might bring. He also has like a Lucario and a Serperior. I thought those might come as well, but he ends up bringing Clefable, Scizor, Hydreigon, Thundurus, Starmie, and Diggersby. I have a pretty cool team here. Just a standard Lopunny, a physical Greninja, because it actually matched well against his Mega Pinsir and his Thunders. So I thought it was a pretty nice tech. There's like Waterfall and U-Turn and Gunk Shot. Pretty sure this is just a mixed defense. It might be, actually, this might be the Sky Plate. I think this is Sky Plate Crobat. Mixed defense, Hippowdon, and a Assault Vest, Tangrowth, and a Scarf Excadrill. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this, and I believe I just lead off with a Lopunny, maybe. He actually leads Clef as I lead. What do I lead? I might not have. I actually lead Greninja in case he wanted to lead Clef or Starmie. I can get a jump on that pretty easily. I go for the Protean U-turn because even though I have Gunk Shot, if he is invested in defense at all, it's not a guaranteed one-shot. And plus, I didn't want to have a situation where I missed Gunk Shot and he was able to get off a Moonblast. I'm just going to go ahead and Powdon. I know Rizzy Powdon can actually eat any hit this Clefable wants to go for, and he has leftovers. And also we see that he is unaware Clefable, as he is taking a little bit of chip damage from the Sandstorm. So he's going to harden his Starmie. I believe I predict this. He was probably predicting me to try to get my rocks, but that's a pretty easy read right there. I'm just going to go into Tangrowth. I'm myself as I hard wall anything he wants to do. I think Ice Beam only did like 35% or something like that. I don't remember what exactly I do here. He goes into Scizor as I believe, I knock off trying to get an item, and I actually knock off leftover Scizor. This is actually nice because it either means A, he's defog Scizor and he has Rapid Spin Starmie, or he's not a threat if he's like a setup Swords Dance variant, because he's not an attack boosted item. He actually is SD. Because he's leftovers, I expect him to be a more bulky variant trying to get momentum. So he probably didn't have Bug Bite. His bug move is probably U-turn. I'm just going to go with Brave Bird damage, and that does a lot of damage. But at the same time, I can tell that he's not speed invested, and he is not... He's definitely a more bulky scissor, and he does confirm that with a U-turn. SD U-turn is not a very good set, in my opinion, just because you kind of waste your boost. He goes into Thunderous here, and what do? Sandstorm goes away, and I'm just going to go hard into my Hippowdon. Because I mix defenses, I know that even if he's HP Ice, which he actually makes a great play and goes for here, I know I can eat 2 of those, and then I can slack off the damage pretty easily, unless he crits me, of course, but, you know, Pokemon is a fair and balanced game. He's also Leftovers Thunderous. That leads me to believe that he might have Taunt to stop me from getting up Stealth Rocks, so... Stealth Rocks pressure things like Thunderous and the pincer that he didn't bring, so I'd expect him to have multiple ways to deal with me getting up hazards, and as you see right there, I slack off, and I'm in a safe amount of health here. Here he taunts, predicting me to try to go for rocks, and because I saw Leftovers, I thought he might have taunt. I'm going to hit him with the Stone Edge. Unfortunately, I don't get a crit. If I had gotten a crit, he would have died, but it does a significant amount of damage to the Thunderous. He's actually in range of the Stealth Rocks here, so if I get up the rocks and he's not able to spin them with his Starmie, he will die. Basically, what happens here is he goes into Starmie. I'm just going to go right back into Tangrowth again. Even if he has Ice Beam, it's not a big deal. Plus, I thought he might try to spin the rocks away right there if I had capitalized on his Thunder Switch out. He can't take a knockoff. He can't take a grass move. I believe I just go for Earthquake. Not really sure what I was predicting there. Maybe Clefable. Just to have a move that can hit him. Pretty much. Just to have a move that can hit him pretty much. Because I know he'd already lost his items, so knockoff didn't make a whole lot of sense. He's going to go for U-turn against Crobat. I can pretty much just heal off the damage with a Roost here. And I believe that's what I try to do. No. Yes, I go for U-turn just to keep up momentum. Weaken the Starmie a little bit more. And what do I decide to do? I'm going to go into Greninja here because I can get him in kind of a U-turn vortex. And I thought he might try to go for the Psyshock to do more damage to my Crobat than a potential Ice Beam would. So he switches out of Starmie as he goes into Clefable, and I believe I just U-turn. I'm slowly chipping this away. Because he has U-turn, I can not. Because he is unaware, not U-turn. Because he is unaware, I can limit his recovery with the Moonlight because he has only access to that and not soft boiled. So he not only is he going to be taking sand chip damage, he's not going to be able to heal up as much health as he normally would. Goes for Moonblast again. Moonblast is doing quite a bit. Now is a great opportunity for me to get on my Stealth Rocks because he can't really touch me. And also, Thunderous will die if it comes back in. So he's either got to Moonblast with his Fable as I slack off. He could have probably risked his Starmie there on my slack off and tried to spin because he's at a range right now with his Starmie where Earthquake doesn't kill him. So he actually sets up a Calm Mind. This kind of got pretty scary if he was Moonblast plus Flamethrower. So what I decided to do is I need to switch out into my Drill to pressure him, but at the same time I need to get him to a range of health where he can where he's forced to go for recovery instead of another Calm Mind or just a Moonblast or even the Flamethrower, predicting the Drill, which I'm able to do with the Earthquake. Does a solid amount of damage. He goes for the Moonlight. He doesn't get back as much as he would because Sand is up. And now I believe I just fire off a safe Iron Head. Fire off a safe Iron Head as he goes into the Diggersby. Now, I should have been more careful around this Diggersby, and let me explain why. When I made this Excadrill, I made it Adamant Scarf so that it could outspeed his Starmie pretty well. The one bad thing about the speed stat that I gave it is that if he's Jolly Scarf Diggersby, he outspeeds me and can kill me with the Earthquake. However, I didn't think at the time that he would be Jolly Scarf because he loses a lot of attacking power if he's not adamant. So instead of going hard to Crobat to scout, because if he can kill me and outspeed me, he's going for Earthquake, which he actually does there and kills my Excadrill. That's pretty bad just because Excadrill was a Mold Breaker Scarf variant, so it put in a ton of work against his team. Now I make the smart play and go into the Crobat knowing that he's locked into Earthquake. So this is a pretty free roost for me. However, I expect Starmie to come in on my roost and try to spin away the rocks, and I'm just going to go straight for the Brave Bird and knock him out. Very, very nice, as now his Thundurus is basically guaranteed dead. He goes into Hydreigon, and I switch out because I don't know if there's a Scarf Hydreigon or not. So I'm going to go into Santa Christ. I don't expect him to go for a hard Flamethrower. He does drop a Draco. He gets a crit, unfortunately, which means I can't stay in and eat up another Moonblast and potentially knock off a Scarf. Not Moonblast, but Flamethrower, knock off a Scarf. So I'm just going to go into Hippowdon. I can check this pretty well, especially because he is at -2 special attack. He just drops another Draco. I'm not really sure why, because he basically gave a free knockoff if it chose to stay in with my Tangrowth. But now, knowing that he's at too low a health, he actually sacks his Thundurus, predicting me to attack, I guess. But at the same time, I wasn't risking Stone Edge against Hydreigon, and I can just safely get off a free slack off and get it back up to full health. He goes into Clefable. Now Clefable, every time it comes in, is going to be taking that additional rocks damage combined with sand. So I'm going to go into free Danza. I know I can eat a Moonblast and just roost up on this thing, and that's exactly what he ends up doing. If he got a crit there, it would have been bad because sand would have killed me, but thankfully he doesn't, and I'm able to get off a pretty nice roost here. I believe what I want to do here is I want to go for Taunt in case he tries to Moonlight up, but he actually just Moonblasts again. Lowers my special attack, not a big problem at all, and I believe I try to taunt him, like I said. As, sure enough, I do try to taunt him as he goes hard into his Diggersby. He is Scarf, so he will outspeed me, but he has to click Return here, because obviously Earthquake won't kill, and I don't know what his other moves are, but Return is probably his best play. Because he's Jolly Scarf and not Adamant, I know for a fact I can take the hits with my Hippowdon very, very well, and as you see right there, it only does about 33%. So I will be able to slack off against this Diggersby pretty well. He's going to go for repeated returns, and I believe I go for slack off first, definitely. No, I go for Stone Edge in case he wants to double into this Hydreigon on my Roost, not my Roost, but my slack off. Taunt ends, not a big deal. He's Scarf. So my goal here, and I potentially screw this up too early, my goal here was to slack off until I could get to a point where I would be at 50% even after a return damage-wise. But as you're going to see here, I'm just going to let him beat me down, go for repeated slack-offs. Unfortunately, Diggersby is not affected by sand, otherwise he would have died by now. But I'm at a pretty decent amount of health, 80. Technically, I probably could have slacked off one more time, but if he got a crit, it wouldn't accomplish much, and I'm just going to go for the Earthquake, knock out the Diggersby. He is slowly losing a lot of his threats to my team, so we already proved that the Scizor is SD, but it's U-turn, so it's not very threatening. I could have potentially slacked off to full health here, but I didn't want him to SD and get off a nice, powerful Bullet Punch, so I'm going to let him Bullet Punch me there and just go for the Earthquake and finish this thing off. Hippowdon picks him another kill, and now he's down to his Clefable, which we confirmed is a Calm Mind variant, and his Scarf Hydreigon. So I think he was Scarf Hydreigon. I'm pretty sure he had to be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had to be because he outspent my... Actually, I don't know how. Okay, ignore me. He goes for Fire Blast on the Tangrowth. Great play. He is super effective, which means I have to rely on my Regenerator here and go out to my Hippowdon, hoping that either I live one or that I can dodge the Fire Blast, which I actually do dodge, which really sucks for him because now I can get off a slack off pretty much for free. He is Scarf because he would have gone for either Earth Power or a Dragon move if he was not. So heal up pretty nicely there. Decide that I'm going to go ahead and slack off again because basically what I want to do is, worst case scenario, if he manages to beat all 4 of my remaining Pokemon, I want to be in a position where I stall him out of Fire Blast so he can't beat my Tangrowth 1v1. I'm at full health now. He goes out to his Clefable, and I believe what I do here is, do I just fire for an Earthquake, or do I... I fire off Stone Edge in case he wants to stay in. Stone Edge from that range would have killed the Hydreigon pretty easily. Now he's at a range where he definitely has to Moonlight up. And I just want to keep him under half. So I'm going to go for Earthquake, force him to be under half, and now I believe I just make the play into my Greninja, maybe? Or do I go into... I go into Crobat first, because I want to try and taunt him, I believe. As he Moonlights again, what do? Do I taunt him? I actually don't know. He hards out in that. Okay, this is what happens. He hards out into his Hydreigon. As I did go, I went for the Roost, kind of thinking that number one, his Clefable can't beat me 1v1, and number two, if I'm at a high amount of health like this Draco Meteor here, I can get to a point where I can just live a Draco Meteor and then U-turn and kill him, and basically get him to a point where I can go into my Greninja. And as long as I connect on this Gunk Shot, I win the game number one. If for some reason I don't hit it, which thankfully I actually do, I had not revealed Gunk Shot. I had them in the back the whole time, just in case he thought Clefable could potentially 1v1 Greninja. What I was going to say, though, is he would have gotten to a point, because he only has 8 Moonlights as opposed to the amount of softballs he would have if he's not unaware. He would not have been able to beat me, because I would have eventually stalled him out of recovery and just beat him down with a combination of Lopunny and my walls. Plus, I could have knocked off his leftovers with my Tangrowth. But that was a 5-0 win. Not really the differential amount I was expecting, but if you really pay attention to this game, 42-turn game, so obviously it was a back and forth struggle, but the 5-0 score didn't reflect how well Jim actually played in this game. He just couldn't break through my defensive core of my Hippowdon, my Crobat, and my Tangrowth, which is kind of unfortunate. His team just wasn't that offensive, at least the one he brought to face me. We were heading to Week 6. We are now 5-0. Week 6, I actually forget who that's against. It might be against Cam, but I'm not positive. Anyway, guys, I will be right back with that game as well. All right, here are guys. Week 6 against Cam. Cam is struggling at this point. We are 5-0. But he's a really scary team. He also has like Gengar and I don't remember what his Mega is. He also has like Raikou and his Mega is Gardevoir. My bad. So Mega Gardevoir, Kyurem Black, Talonflame, Tyranitar, which I actually traded. We actually swapped Hippowdon and Tyranitar earlier in the season, so there's that. He also has Jirachi and Latias. This game, I'm pretty sure I just brought like Banded Azu plus Life Orb Greninja and some other things. Hang on a second. Anyway, so we're bringing Life Orb Drill and Hippowdon, and I believe this is Choice Scarf Crocodile, but I'm not sure. Standard attacking Lopunny. It was either, I think it might have been Banded Azu. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Banded Azu, or maybe a Sulfist. I think it might be a Sulfist to take on potential Thunderbolt Latias, and then a Greninja in the back just to hit things pretty hard. As far as Cam's team, Cam was a victim of, he brought pretty much the same team every week. So what I did to prep for it was I literally sat there with the replay of all his games and calced all his spreads and then counter teamed that exact team. Granted, if he had changed it up, he could have got me, but, high roll, take advantage of our resources. So we know for a fact that is probably a Banded Talonflame, a support Tyranitar, maybe like a Banded one, Lottie carrying Thunderbolt, and then Choice Scarf Kyurem. Choice Scarf Kyurem was a big one because I knew that Choice Scarf Drill could not outspeed Choice Scarf Kyurem, so I decided to just bring the Life Orb Sand Rush Attacker set. Anyway, we're going to get in this game. As per usual, I'm going to lead off my Lopunny just to get off a fake out. He leads off with Latios. This is great. I'm going to be able to chip it down. Does a lot of damage. Based on that damage, he's definitely like an offensive variant. Possibly Calm Mind. He makes a good play here. Goes for the Side Shock right away. He reveals the Life Orb. Now I expect him to have Thunderbolt, so I'm going to go right into my Hippowdon as he doesn't. Sure enough, go for that. Now I'm going to go into my Drill and start just whacking things as he goes for Calm Mind. I actually decided that I'm going to go for my Stealth Rock because After he went for the Calm Mind, even if he has like Ice Beam, I can definitely live and start murking things with Drill. So he takes a little bit of sand damage, takes some life for recoil. I'm just going for Iron Head, knock this thing out. Iron Head was the best play in case you wanted to go hard in this Tyranitar. Now I'm going to go for the Earthquake, easily knock this thing out. I am adamant, so it does a lot of damage. It goes into Kyurem here. I know for a fact this is Scarf Kyurem, so we're going to go ahead and go hard into Azumarill. Makes a good play, goes for the Iron Head. Probably a good catch-all also against my Crocodile as well. Goes for Iron Head again. I go into my Hippowdon. I am Rocky Helmet to help out with his Talonflame as he goes into here. I have no idea what move he went for here, but I am able to outspeed the Talonflame. Huh? And then, oh, because he switched into the... Yeah, I go for the Stars Predicted the Talonflame, my bad. He goes for Iron Head because he's left with Jirachi. He doesn't actually kill me. He doesn't get the flinch either. So I'm going to go for the Earthquake, knock him out. Now he's down to that Scarf Kyurem and his Gardevoir. Go for Fake Out, just get a little bit of shape damage, and I'm pretty sure he's in range where he'll die to actually Sand, but unfortunately Sand goes away. I go hard into Ozzy predicting him to go for the Outrage, force a switch out. Now I can click Bandit Aqua Jet twice, kill this Gardevoir, and then the Kyurem will die to Stealth Rocks. So, pretty quick game, pretty offensive game. Cam played alright. It didn't help that he brought the team he usually brought, because like I said, I hard countered that team, but yeah. So that was week 6. We are 6-0 and leading the league in kills with the Azumarill. So week 7 will be the final week of the regular season, and then we'll jump into the playoffs. At this point, we had, I believe, achieved playoffs after week 5. So we are definitely just a playoff team. I will be right back with the final game of the regular season. And we are taking on John, I believe. All right, guys, we're back with week number 7, the final week of the regular season. Taking out John, and this was a fun game to prep for because we have a really, really cool team concept. We have our general Assault Vest Tangrowth and a bulkier Crobat and still Lopunny, but we also have some cool... Well, actually, Lopunny is a little bit different because we do have a Scarf Drill just to outspeed his Alakazam and be there to kind of whack things that would normally be faster than us. But the idea behind this was originally a workup Baton Pass Jolteon into Lopunny, but instead what I wanted to do, and this was a idea given by boy Andrew, is that we were going to do a agility Baton Pass into Belly Drum Azumarill. So we have Belly Drum Azumarill, enough speed to outspeed Alakazam at +2, so pretty good right there. And then we just have like substitute I think we might even have Power Punch. I'm not even sure. But yeah, all you need to know is Belladrum and Azumarill. Keep an eye on that. It's funny because John actually brought a team that I made for him, so I know every single spread on this team. There was like a Spec Sylveon, a Dragon Dance, a Desart X, Sugarberry, Metagross, Alakazam without Focus Sash, Swords Dance, Garchomp, and then whack-ass Manaphy. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I believe, what do I do here? He leads off with Metagross. I'm just going to lead off with Excadrill. Do I stay in? No, I'm going to hard out. The reason for that is I wanted to scout what he was actually going to do. At this point, I was 90% sure it was the same team, but he actually just goes hard Earthquake, does absolutely 0 to Tangrowth. And I'm going to go for my own Earthquake here as he goes for the Ice Punch. I am pretty defensive as well as especially defensive, so I can eat up pretty much any hit. I'm just going to go for Earthquake in case I need to pop that, to pop a Sugarberry in case, worst case scenario, I need to win with my drill later in the game. I'm going to go out to Crobat as he just Ice Punches again. Does a lot of damage, leading me to believe that I'm more actually specially defensive to Crobat instead of physically defensive, and Metagross is strong. So I'm going to go for U-turn, chip it down. And what do I do? Chip it down, go back out to my Lopunny. I can get my Mega Evolution off here. Here's for Ice Punch, and what did I do? Oh, because I always do that, but I switched into Lopunny. I didn't Mega Evolve yet. Gonna Mega Evolve now. Go for the fake... I go hard Agility against the Garchomp, knowing it can't kill me with anything. And then I'm going to go for the substitute as he goes for... what does he do? He goes right for the outrage. This is like the number one scenario ever, as I'm going to be able to baton pass into my Azumarill on his outrage. Now, I don't think John knew, but at any time he could have just clicked Earthquake instead, because it's not effective, so it wouldn't have locked him in or anything. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and win the game, because I'm going to go for the belly drum. And yes, just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So he's going to go for Outrage for the 4th time for whatever reason. I'm going to go for Ice Punch, knock him out. Get hit by his Rough Skin, but luckily he's not Rocky Helmet, so that's good. Goes into Manaphy. I could click the knockoff. He is Rocky Helmet, which is unfortunate. That's how you know it's bad. Rocky Helmet, Manaphy, everybody. So now he pretty much loses this game unless he's like Sash. Unless he changes Alakazam to Sash. I'm just gonna go for Waterfall. I don't think I was actually knockoff. Or no, I went for Waterfall in case he wanted to switch it to Sylveon. I think he could live. Now's the moment of truth. I'm going to go for Waterfall. I do outspeed this because I have my agility up. And just floor that thing. And I believe all he's got left is his Sylveon and his Charizard. Sylveon will not appreciate this Waterfall. He does protect for the lulz, I guess. And block me once and then die. There we go. There we go. Dead. And now his last Pokemon is his Charizard X. And even though he is technically neutral to water, he won't be able to eat this hit at all. And he's just going to Mega Evolve and then die. Gone. And then, yeah, that'll be it. 6-0. Nice way to end the season. Nice revenge sweep with the Golden Azumarill. So we do finish the season 7-0. And we just got to wait for the playoffs. We will be getting a first round bye because we were the number 1 seed. So, yeah, I'll be back with the first round of the playoffs. Right, so, before I get into this game, basically how the playoffs ended up shaping up was, like I said, I got a first round bye. Jim got a first round bye for finishing second. And 6 of the 8 teams made the playoffs. So, the playoff teams were me, Jim, Balfre, Graham, Alyssa, and John. And basically, John and Alyssa played first round, and then Balfre and Graham played first round. Balfre managed to beat Graham 2-0, and then Alyssa with the infamous special on the offensive Ferrothorn 5-0 John in round 1. So the semifinal matchups were Balfre against Jim, and this one with myself against Alyssa. I don't really remember what I actually brought to this game, which was pretty unfortunate because of a playoff game, but basically... things I do remember, I had like a Life Orb Jolteon, a Choice Scarf Victini, or maybe Choice Band, or maybe even like Life Orb Expert Belt, or Special Expert Belt, I think that might have been one. Choice Scarf Crocodile, just a Life Orb Attacking Greninja, a Sky Plate Crobat, and then a Bandit Azumarill. Seems pretty weak to Bandit Azumarill, so I think that's what I tried to win with. She brought a Garchomp, Landorus, Keldeo, Latios, Feraligatr, and Florges. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. I don't really remember what exactly happened. So she leaves Keldeo. I leave with Crobat. I noticed that she has like no switch-ins to... she can't kill me if she's Scarf. And she has like no switch-ins to Brave Bird. So I just go ahead and Brave Bird turn 1 and knock out this Keldeo. I fucking hate Keldeo. So now she goes into Feraligatr, and I can't remember if I think I just Brave Bird again. I just Brave Bird again, dent the Feraligatr. She wants to go for the Dragon, and she actually predicted me to roost off the damage and goes for the Earthquake, which is great because now I just get to fire for Brave Bird again. I go for a U-turn in case she has Aqua Jet. I don't want to take that damage, and I'm going to U-turn out into my Crocodile, try to get a kill. I thought she might try to have Ice Beam and not go for the Waterfall, so she has Ice Beam. She gets the leftovers recovery. The fact that this thing was leftovers really helped because it helped me not die to things. I'm just going to go for knockoff, get a +1 with my Moxie, and I believe I'm Scarf, so we should be able to get another hit off as well. She goes into Landorus, gets rid of my boost. but I believe I just go for a knockoff again. Does a ton of damage. Knockoff its Rocky Helmet, and does it kill me? I think it might kill me. It goes for Grass Knot and kills me. That was a nice prep on her part. Grass Knotting potentially my Azumarill or my Crocodiles you see there. I'm going to go into Greninja now because I can pretty much just fire off an Ice Beam for free. She learns the unfortunate scenario of Greninja here where I can change my type because of Protean. We are 8 games deep in the season, and she's seen every one of my games. So somehow she learned that just now, but we'll deal with it. She goes into Florges. I don't want to take a Moonblast, so I believe I just go into my Crobat and can pretty much eat any hit she wants to go for. She goes for Petal Blizzard, which was a really cool move. Potentially trying to hit my Greninja or my Florges. Not my Florges, my thing. Azumarill. Anyway, I go for Toxic in case she's Calm Mind variant. She goes for Psychic, which was a really nice move, and actually knocks me out. It's unfortunate that Alyssa won't be in Season 2, because I feel like she, by the end of the season, had learned a lot about how to build and how to combat teams. Now, she has no switches to Bandit Player Off, so I'm just going to go for the Player Off. I'm guaranteed outspeeding the Florges, because that's what I spread crept in my prep. And now she goes into Garchomp. She wants to double into Latios. I don't know why, because Latios is more useful than Garchomp. And, yeah. So pretty much, Azumarill is going to clean up this game by clicking the Bandit Player Off. And as long as I don't miss, we should be able to seal this pretty well with the 4-0 victory. She's also Mega Garchomp, which means she's stronger, but she's also slower. She goes for Earthquake. Doesn't quite knock me out, and I am able to connect my Player Off and win this game 4-0. So Alyssa had a very good showing in the season, but unfortunately she's busy with work in California, so she will not have time to play in Season 2. But we are moving on to the finals against opponent to be named. So I will be back with the final game of the season, and we'll see if we're able to capture that elusive championship. Alright, friends, we are back with the final game, the championship of Season 1 of the Stab League. And it is myself taking on a Balfre, and Balfre vastly improved over the course of the season. So I don't expect to get an easy belly drum win this time around, but we're obviously going to try to win. He brings a cool team of Togekiss, Mamoswine, Slowbro, Magneton, Snorlax, and Entei. He didn't have Entei last time, and Entei is a pretty massive threat to my team because it outspeeds quite a few of my mons. And if that's Scarf Magneton, that can also be a big threat, as well as if it's like a Scarf Mamoswine. So I decided that I'm going to bring Zappley, Jolteon, Trick, Scarfictini, Lopunny, which is standard. I think I brought the exact same Lopunny set. I do have a Scarf Excadrill, a Banded Azumarill, and then a just general attacking variant of Greninja. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this game as he leads off with his Snorlax this time instead of his Mamoswine. I lead off with my Greninja. I'm just going to hard out. I don't want him to be getting up a curse. I don't want him to potentially be going for the Body Slam and getting a para. He thankfully does not, and then I'm just going to fire off a superpower, Banded Superpower, knock this thing out. He really didn't have a lot of switch-ins other than his Slowbro to Banded Superpower, and the thing was, he already knows this thing gets knockoff, so he didn't want me to go for the knockoff and potentially kill this thing. He goes hard on his Togekiss. Because I'm locked into the superpower, I don't want to risk getting unnecessary damage or possibly a Thunder Wave off on my Azumarill. He actually goes right for the Air Slash. He doesn't reveal an item, so I think he is a more defensive variant. He's actually going to go into Slowbro here, and I believe, what do I do? I just set up my Stealth Rocks, as he probably didn't have a lot to hit my not Slowbro, Excadrill. I'm going to go into my Lemon Party. He scalds me, but he thankfully does not get the burn, so I'm going to be able to knock this thing off and put it at a very low amount of health, and I believe he just Side Shocks to kill me, which is fine. So, kept his slow bro weakened. Basically, what I want to do too was I wanted to threaten him to the point where he could not just slack off in my face. I'm gonna go to low punny because I know he's at a range where I can pretty much kill him with anything that I want to do. But he is gonna get some regenerator by switching out his Togekiss. I want to know what this thing's item is, so I believe I just fake out. Still not an item being revealed, so he finally reveals his leftovers. That leads me to believe that he is indeed a more defensive variant. Now, I don't want him going for the Thunder Wave against my low punny, so I'm going to go like to play into Excadrill. If he wanted to go for the Flamethrower, like potentially live one, but I figured that was a little bit too aggressive for what Balfre would normally play. Sure enough, he does go for the Thunder Wave, and now I'm free to just fire from Iron Head. However, I don't want it to potentially live, so he's going for Air Slash, weaken my Greninja. Unfortunately, he just stayed in, which leads me to believe he might have enough speed to outspeed a standard Excadrill, which is a lot of speed being a Togekiss, but I wasn't quite sure of his spread at this point. Now I'm going to go into Jolteon because, number one, this eats up Air Slash, number one. Number two, he can't Thunder Wave me, and number three, I can threaten him into something like his Mamoswine with the threat of the Thunderbolt. In fact, I'm going to make a double here, predicting him to want to go to that Mamoswine to eat up any hit that Jolteon wanted to go for. And sure enough, he does go Mamoswine. Potentially risky play on my part in case this is indeed a Scarf Mamoswine, but I figured he was either going to stay in or he was going to go into something like Slowbro to eat the Iron Head. Now he goes into Slowbro. I think he might have Fire Blast, so I am going to switch out. And I do go into my Greninja, knowing that I can eat pretty much any hit he wants to go for. He actually just slacks off. Pretty good plan on his part. Not wanting me, knowing that I would not risk him having the Fire Blast or even just a Scald to burn my Excadrill. He goes on a Magneton here, and I believe I was fire for Grass Knot. Does a lot of damage considering that Magneton is pretty light, but nice hit there. Now, I don't know if he's Scarfed or not, so I'm going to go into my Victini. As he goes for the Flash Cannon. He is analytic based on that damage, but I don't know if he's locked in anything. He is choiced, so I actually want to talk about this play because I think this play is right where we are. Now, I go for the trick in my Scarf, and end up with a choice band. This is actually really bad, and this made the game a ton harder for me because now he's Choice Scarf Entei, and I really don't have a lot of switch-ins into Sacred Fire plus Stone Edge. So if he gets the turn right where I go into my Victini trying to eat up the Sacred Fire, and he goes for Stone Edge and kills me, he could potentially even just win the game right there. The idea behind this play was to catch his Slowbro switching into my Victini. However, the play at 100%, especially after Stealth Rock damage, was just click V-Crate because even if he went into his Entei, I did 2 KO him, and after the speed drop, all I would have to do was sack something that's not very useful, such as my Excadrill, and just come back in with Victini and win. However, because he's now Choice Scarf Entei, we got to play pretty aggressively around what he's going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I decide that because I have Jolteon, Greninja is not that useful. So I have Jolteon to check both Togekiss and the Slowbro, so I can sack on my Greninja. Now he's locked into Sacred Fire, so now I get a kill by clicking Bullet Strike. Bullet Strike again, just in case he wants to go hard into his Slowbro. I am banded Bullet Strike, so I do knock out this Magneton really easily, especially at the health range it's at plus Stealth Rock. Back into Entei. Now, here's where I believe I want to sack my Excadrill. Yes, I just sacked my Excadrill from full health. I don't really care that it's at full health, basically, because even though Entei is still really strong, and even though he's Scarf, I can just die to a Sacred Fire regardless. This is going to allow me to bring back in my Victini. Now he's going to sack something else. He just sacks Togekiss, I believe. Yeah, and I mean, after Stealth Rock, it won't matter how defensive he is. As long as I don't miss the Bullet Strike, we should be good to go, and we sure enough are. So he was not able to get off the nice and powerful Thunder Wave and complicate things anymore, and I just knock him out with the Bullet Strike. Goes into Entei here. I expect him to want to go... Oh no! This I make the stutter die play. I expect him to predict me to switch out because that's what I've done the whole time, and I stay in, eat the Sacred Fire, click the Bolt Strike, and basically win the game. Except you're gonna see here now Slowbro is pretty much his only only hope I should say. I go for the Bolt Strike and I miss. Slowbro could have 1v1 my entire team potentially. If as long as I didn't have Jolteon in the back, thankfully for us I do. I'm able to go to it. Just click the Thunderbolt and thankfully win the game 2-0. So that was a very good showing by Balfre and a very exciting championship game. You're sacred for our indeed the Stab League Season 1 champions, but it was a very long road to get there. And yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the presentation of the remainder of the season. Again, the Season 2 will be starting up pretty soon. In fact, the preseason draft tournament is going to be this third week of May. The teams for that will be revealed pretty soon at the end of April here. And that'll be the first step, and then we'll have our draft, and then we'll get into some Stab League action. So leave a like if you enjoyed. This video is really long, so I don't know if... should probably put timestamps to kind of put where the battles start so you guys can see the battles you want to, and maybe watch the whole season, maybe not. Anyway, guys, I'm Stab, and I'm out.